Hi. Hi, I hope you can see me. I just got told at the last minute then that I had an unstable internet connection. So it's great if you can hear me, and it's even better if you can see me as well. Or that's probably up for debate. I really hope it holds out for this session, and I'm sure it will. So welcome back. You're here at the summer series with Inspiring Workplaces in partnership with H&H. And I haven't seen you for like 4 days now. The team at Inspiring Workplaces and H&H have been in charge of some of the hosting duties, and it's been amazing. I've just got to sit back and listen and learn to all of our amazing speakers. We've in that time we ran a roundtable event with leaders in internal comms and experience on building trust through your communications. We've still been delivering the daily doses of learning through the summer series. We've been busy preparing for the global awards ceremony, albeit virtual, which will be taking place next week, where we'll hear about who are the inspiring workplaces of the year. And I've been mentally preparing, as I was just explaining to Reena backstage, about how I'm going to fit my 3 young boys, my tent, and all my camping equipment in our car for our summer break. So on to day 28. 28 of the summer series. Wow. I'm really excited. I know a guest that we have today is an amazing lady called Reena Varu. She works in development for Santander. I'm sure you probably know who Santander are. I'm sure Reena will go into that in a bit more detail anyway. So the HR capability team, their vision is to transform the future of Santander through insightful, innovative and effective learning that enables the organization to become the best bank for all of their stakeholders. So really, they want to help the people there become the best who they are so that the bank can be the best that it is. And I'm really excited to welcome Reena to the stage, who's going to share with us what they're doing, how they're doing it, and why they're doing it. Reena, is my internet brought you on? It has. Welcome.
It has. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Ruth. And I have to say, you're very brave going camping with 3 children. I have envy, honestly. I do. And thank you so much for inviting me along. I've been totally inspired hearing, over the last kind of month as part of this summer series, and kind of really honored to be here. So, and I hope I can add a little fraction of that inspiration today.
Oh, Reena, we're just so thankful that you're part of it and that you are presenting too. And I'm glad that you've been watching and listening and learning too. I'm gonna go backstage and let you take the mic for a while and the 3 down.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And hi, everyone. So today I wanted to share our story on how we approached our onboarding experience of our 75 graduates and apprentices who joined us in October last year. It's part of our learning team around emerging talent. And we all kind of know how hard it is to start a new job and not knowing what to expect. But it's kind of even more difficult when you're starting a new job in a pandemic. And that's something we were really mindful of. And as for most of the grads and the apprentices, this was probably going to be the first time they went into a big organisation, the first proper job. And whereas in the past we've kind of held face-to-face events, we wanted to give them an opportunity to kind of build relationships and network and not lose that because things were just different. Kind of adopting our new ways of working, we carried out extensive research with our existing graduates and apprentices, and to really understand, what matters to them most when joining an organisation, what really inspires them and prepares them to embed them into the organisation and the culture. We collated all this feedback. We ran a number of discovery sessions. We used this feedback and also learnings from our previous events, adopting kind of our new ways of working, obviously. And it wasn't for us just moving to a virtual environment. It was about planning each part of that experience in detail to ensure that the grads and the apprentices had the best experience, and in turn, giving us our objectives for the event. This was to create an immersive and interactive onboarding experience so that they were ready to join the organisation, to really inspire, educate and virtually connect them to each other so they are ready to hit the ground running, and also to really accelerate and acclimatise their understanding of the organisation to start becoming more productive in their roles at a faster pace. And this is how we created Santander Fest, which was our 4-week virtual onboarding experience. We split out each week of the 4 weeks to focus on key areas from the feedback that we've got. Ahead of joining, we harnessed social media platforms such as Facebook and WhatsApp, which we knew the grads and apprentices were familiar with. We set up private groups for them and to allow them to start networking with each other and starting to create some opportunities ahead of them joining. Things like sharing photos of their summer breaks and also trying to help set up some virtual meet and greet to really help them keep engaged before joining. As we know, starting a new role can be nerve-wracking for us, let alone grads and apprentices who are starting their first proper job in a big organisation. And to help kind of alleviate any concerns of their first day, we really wanted to make sure that they had everything they needed to feel ready. That's why we set up a dedicated Santander Fest hub on Mio, which is our internal learning platform, where we periodically release content out to them leading up to their first day. This included things like teasers of what we had planned for their first couple of weeks, what to expect on their first day, and also tips on finding a home working space, as we knew most of them were working from home, really with a real focus on personal well-being. We use the Santander Fest Hub as a primary platform for communication, scheduling, and also collaboration, acting as a real central point with everything they needed for their first 4 weeks. This was all personalised to their needs, and we really wanted them to explore and access at their convenience and not restrict them when they were, when they were in different sessions. We ensured that for all 75 individuals, we had their IT equipment delivered a week before they started. And to create some real excitement, we sent them a welcome box with a box full of goodies. I mean, who doesn't like a box of goodies, right? And this had things like a water bottle with, to keep them hydrated as they were sat at home most of the time. And my favorite was the eco plant your own cube, with the sentiment that they will grow and prosper just like the plant in their roles, as well as other goodies such as a notepad, pens, and some sweets as well. We focused our first week on getting them used to our systems, and you can see that in the third lane on screen. Because, you don't know what you don't know. And for most, this being their first job, we wanted to give them all the tools ahead of time. So we ran sessions on Microsoft Teams, how to use Outlook, how to set up your email signature, introduced them to our graduate and apprentice committee who guided them through their journey in that first week. This week for them was all about finding their work rhythm and an opportunity for them to meet their business areas as well. We made sure that we ran the sessions, we broke the individuals down into smaller groups so that they got the full benefits of the sessions as well. In that first week, we also arranged Tech Ninja drop-ins with an IT expert on hand to answer any tech queries or issues they were having, as well as planning in some daily stand-ups and reflection sessions with our own coach team to ensure that they had that extra layer of support all the way through. Week 2 was an opportunity for them to start hearing firsthand from our senior leaders, really understanding the values, the vision, and the strategy of the organisation. It's really we all know it's really important to build networks and have that opportunity to fully acclimatise to the culture. But doing this in a virtual setting does have its challenges. However, through Santander Fest, we gave them unrestricted access to a broad spectrum of people across the bank, including grads and apprentices already on programme, through to our Deputy CEO who shared their experiences, talked about the future strategy of Santander and the role they'll play within this, which was a key focus for this week. During this second week, we held interactive and immersive breakout sessions to really inspire and educate them from understanding their personal brand, agile development, and a big focus on personal well-being. And to add an extra level of excitement, we had a special guest that the grads and apprentices didn't know anything about. And this was one of our brand ambassadors, Jensen Button, where they were able to hear firsthand about his experiences and also him bringing a completely different perspective. But they were so excited that they were asking so many questions to him, and it was a great experience for them. And keen to also not lose that social interaction, we set up a social evening event where they were able to finally let their hair down through a virtual escape room activity. Their third week was focused on embedding themselves into the business areas, really starting to understand the role that they'll play in the organisation. During this week, we wanted to support their skills development, so we had masterclasses around epigenetics and resilience as well. And moving into their fourth and final week, they now had all the tools to really accelerate their understanding and learning to fully embed themselves into the organisation. We harnessed existing technology utilised in the bank, such as Zoom and Teams, for the interactive sessions. To really make them as engaging as possible, we incorporated tools such as Slido and Virtual Whiteboard. We also recorded the sessions for them to act as and put this as a replay on their Santander Fest hub so that they could revisit the content that had been shared with them, really providing them the learning opportunities at their convenience. And we wanted to allow the new joiners to share their thoughts and opinions about their onboarding experience. And we created a community site on Mio, which is a bit like a social media platform, but an internal version of it, where they were sharing common interests, but it also initiated them to create their own networks, which was great to see. They were sharing pictures of their home working space and also some of the commitments that they'd made in their first week. Throughout the 4 weeks, we were really mindful not to overload them, and all the sessions we made sure were no longer than 40 minutes long, with breaks planned in between, and to give them a real chance to digest the content and break away from the screen, whilst keeping the balance with a set agenda to really allow them to start embedding into the organisation. Feedback directly from the grads and apprentices demonstrated the success of our onboarding experience, and you can see some of those comments that we got show up on screen now. I mean, they gave their overall experience a net promoter score of 73, which is amazing because it's classed as excellent on the spectrum. And this was actually an increase from the 2019 face-to-face event that we had. So, all this year, because when we did it, it was completely virtual. So we were literally overwhelmed by that response. We also saw a clear engagement through social media as well, where the graduates and apprentices were talking about their experience. And on LinkedIn, we had over 25,000 views across LinkedIn posts in the first few weeks of them joining from them. And through the dedicated internal community site, which I mentioned earlier, we had just over 1,200 hits on there, and also 68 individual posts, both demonstrating the value and the positive impact the onboarding has had on them. But I didn't just want you guys to take my word for it. And that's why I've invited Ruhan Pat, who joined us in October last year on the corporate and commercial program. And he's hopefully here somewhere to share his experiences and what he thought. So, hi, Ruhan. Would you like to share your experience?
Hi, Reena. Thank you. But yeah, just to go straight into it, and hi to everyone else as well. As I'm sure you can understand, I was very nervous starting in October of 2020 just because it was completely new, fresh pandemic, and I'd never really worked in an environment like this before. I did have doubts whether I'd be able to keep up and how good the onboarding process would have been. But considering it was the bank's first virtual onboarding, it was phenomenal. By the end of the first day, I'd been reassured 6, 7, possibly 8 times that I'm in the safest hands possible, and it definitely did feel like that. Prior to starting, we had received a lovely welcome box, as Reena said, with many of the lovely gifts that were inside, such as the plant, the notepad. We had some earphones. We received brand new laptops, which was really good because we could have this facility to work from home. USBs, and just a really nice welcome pack that was very warming to have, especially being new, made me feel very welcome. Going to the induction, it was just phenomenal. Although this had been the team's first, it just seemed like they'd done it so many times before, and I've even told Reena this a couple of times. The structure of the day within the 4-week program was very well laid out, very well structured. We had social events that range from personal branding to personal finance lessons, which was my favorite, to well-being events where Santander places massive emphasis on well-being and mental health, which is really nice to see, especially within obviously COVID. We had breakout rooms where we could discuss our day at the end of every single day for the first week, which was also a nice little social interaction between the bank and the other apprentices and graduates all together. We had received so much useful information on the bank and systems that really helped me going into my first rotation on week 3. When we started, of course, we didn't know much about the bank at all, being 18, 19, most of us. Being taught so much information, but being able to have been taught it in such a way where we can digest it was really good. We had opportunities to speak with the Deputy CEO of Santander, like Reena said, Mr. Tony Prestige, which was really good because we were able to see his journey and how he got to where he was today. We had abilities to talk with the Culture and Capability Director, Anushka Ramsey, which was also really cool. We did have the privilege to meet Jensen Button, which no one knew. It was just a space in the schedule, which was a surprise. And considering quite a few of us were big Formula One fans, it was such a lovely surprise to kind of see his experience with the bank, but also his learning experiences and how we can input it into our lives going forward. The way the induction was put together was it's just incomparable to any virtual experience I've ever had. Although we were unable to be with each other physically, the liveliness and the passion that was brought from the team and Reena especially to the whole virtual program just made it one of the best experiences I've ever had, whether it's physical or virtual. So I'd like to say a massive thank you to Reena once again. The induction had definitely given me confidence and really embedded me into Santander and the kind of the family that we have here. And I still feel really excited about it, talking about it, and it's nearly been a year, but I can remember it like it was all yesterday. So thank you, Reena, for that once more. It had allowed me to really kickstart my career and add value from day one in my rotation, which I found really helpful. Thank you for listening. That's just my personal experience, and I know I can speak on behalf of pretty much all involved.
Oh, thanks so much, Ruhan. And it's so nice to hear because obviously you were a massive part. You know, it was your journey essentially that we designed for, and it's so good to hear that it was one of your best experiences. And I guess I just want to kind of end this talk talking about how we've seen a direct parallel with connecting our graduates and apprentices right from the beginning, from pre-boarding to really being established into the organisation, being able to contribute to their roles at a faster pace, and also applying their fresh perspectives and new ideas early on, resulting in meaningful contributions to the organisation. And, you know, Ruhan's just kind of demonstrated that for us. And despite the obstacles that 2020 have brought us, we've utilised existing technology and innovative thinking to really create this exciting, inspiring and memorable experience for our emerging talent. And I wanted to end this by playing a short video, which we put together at the time to really summarise the event. But it gives me goosebumps every time, so I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much.
Is our onboarding experience for our graduates and apprentices joining the bank. This year, due to the pandemic, we ran a 4-week virtual induction.
Even though the event itself has been virtual, I do think that it has been a great success, potentially even more so than being in person, just because it actually motivates you to go out and actually reach out to people.
Off the back of the team building event, we managed to stay behind in the call for another hour and a half and managed to create a WhatsApp group and get a really good connection and group going.
Given us a lot of opportunities to get to know everybody. I was sort of very worried when I first started that I'd be one of the oldest people there because I'm in my 20s and I always thought apprenticeships would be for people that are like 18, 19, just left school. But that wasn't the case at all.
Oh wow, look at that. we've managed to bring the country together, which is quite an exciting and magnificent thing to have achieved.
But we had loads of breakout sessions. It was really, really interesting and informative. Being agile, so agile as your personality and agile at work. A breakout session on well-being, because especially working from home is really important. So it's great to see emphasis on well-being and mental health. One of my personal favorites was the personal brand breakout session, which we got to learn what your personal brand is and then how important it is.
My highlight of Santander Fest has been just how well structured and organised everything has been. There's just been so much opportunity which you wouldn't expect to see at all at the start of joining a business, especially a large business.
I think the way that the information's been delivered has been quite refreshing because of how interactive it is. It's easy to ask questions. It's been a really welcoming and supportive framework for us to be introduced to the bank.
Santander brought this to life just by making everyone feel really connected, even though, essentially we're not. We can't see each other face to face.
What was really impressive for me was the level of engagement. It was lovely to see that people were jotting down notes, they were thinking, they were considering the advice that was being given to them. And what we want to help bring to life through the virtual induction is what the culture feels like here.
I loved my time with the Emerging Talent Group. I knew from the beginning that it was going to be the highlight of my weekend. It absolutely was. Their enthusiasm, their capability, their energy just came through the screen.
The discussion with the Emerging Talent Group was great. They've all got their heads screwed on and they understand what they need to do and the direction they need to take. And they also understand it's not going to be plain sailing and they're going to have difficult times. And it's about having the team around you, having the support around you and willing to learn and adapt to different situations.
I had a small feeling it could be someone from F1. No idea that it would have been obviously Jenson Button being one of the best there's ever been. Good to know his views on how he got to his stage in his career, the fails he's had and the great moments, and also just what built him as a character in F1 as well.
I feel like I've had a proper induction experience, even though obviously I'm sat at home in my room. It's run really smoothly. Every move we put together, Santander Fest has done an amazing job.
The team have really engineered a process to allow us to integrate within the bank, integrate socially, and really feel prepared to take the next step for our role.
I cannot wait to start my journey with Santander. It's been a great induction and everyone's just been really kind and welcoming, and it's just a really great start to what I hope will be a very long career with Santander.
Reena, I'm not surprised that makes you feel emotional. I feel emotional after watching that, and I'm not even with Santander, and I didn't even do the work. Well done.
I know.
Truly,
it
truly
gives
well
me
done. I
goosebumps
think
every time I watch it.
I'm not surprised. The work that you've done is phenomenal. I cannot imagine starting out in my career in a pandemic. I just can't imagine it. And most of the time when you were talking us through that program and what you were doing, I completely forgot about the pandemic. And I also completely forgot that it was all done virtually. You made it so exciting and so alive, and talking about all the things you were doing. I forgot that actually that the Emerging Talent Group and these apprentices and grads, whatever, didn't even leave their bedrooms. No. Or living rooms or wherever they worked.
And like I was just saying, like I said in the talk, it was that we were really mindful of that from the beginning, because most of them, it was their first proper job essentially, and we didn't want them to start off by being at home and not being able to speak to people or network or build relationships. And we planned that all the way through, and that's something that was top of our agenda all the way through.
I think you've set the bar really high for people like Ruhan and the rest of the team. So if they ever did move on to another organisation, they're going to have high expectations now. I think there's a lot to learn for organisations who may be thinking about having emerging talent groups, apprenticeships, graduate schemes, sort of thing. Also, I think my we're having a storm where I live. I don't know if it is where you are, but there's a storm where I live in the south of England, and it's really affecting my internet connection. So I'm sorry if it's been a bit jittery for a few people. I think Reena and Ruhan and all of the team in the capability team have so well told the story. I don't really have any questions other than well done. And if anyone would like to beg, borrow, steal, or copy with pride the amazing work that you've done and be inspired by it, then let us know, because we're really keen, and we're really keen to connect you to Reena and the team as well. Ruhan, I'm going to bring you onto the screen. I didn't prepare you for this. It's a good job you were poised and position ready. But well done for sharing the story and sharing your experiences as well. It sounds like it's been an amazing program, and the energy that I've heard from you and from the rest of your emerging talent group is amazing. So I thank you, and thanks for being so complimentary of Reena. I'm sure she's really liked it too.
And Ruhan, you spotted him in the video as well. He was our model apprentice, and you could see he really enjoyed the experience, which is why I wanted to get him back on screen to join me as part of this. And he's been absolutely amazing, and I know he's gonna hit. So his career is just gonna take off completely.
Thank you, Reena.
Well done to both of you. I'm going to wrap it up before the storm that I can currently hear outside is going to wrap it up for me. So I'm gonna say thank you to you, Reena. Thank you to you, Ruhan, and I'm gonna now send you both backstage before we get kicked out of this live altogether. Day 29 tomorrow. You've got me again. I'll be bringing to the stage Eugenio Piri, who is from the Dorchester collection, who's going to be talking to us about the work that they've been doing around diversity. It's going to be another exciting case study, and I'm really excited to hear it. Same time, same place, probably a different outfit. There will be a different outfit, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you to Reena, Ruhan, and all the team at Santander for sharing that story. Bye for now.